The following audio may contain the personal testimonials of some independent OPTAVIA coaches or clients of OPTAVIA. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified, and your individual path to healthy living and weight loss will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a healthcare provider before starting a weight loss program. In addition, this audio may contain income or earnings representations of some independent OPTAVIA coaches. OPTAVIA makes no guarantee of financial success. Success with OPTAVIA results from successful sales efforts, which requires hard work, diligence, skill, persistence, competence, and leadership. Please see the OPTAVIA income disclosure statement for statistics on actual earnings of coaches under the U.S. compensation plan, which differs from the international compensation plan. Yours in health, the OPTAVIA team.
All right, everyone, welcome to our Habits of Health community time tonight. So excited to be here with you. My name is Jan Paxman, and tonight we're going to be focusing on creating a new healthy world. And I'm excited to share that I have been a part of OPTAVIA now. It has changed my life in so many ways I can't even begin to tell you. So again, I'm super excited to be here with you. And tonight, just before we get into it, we're just gonna start going over our agenda. We're gonna be talking about mindset, skill set, and action. And for any of you OPTAVIANs out there, you'll notice this is kind of a common theme that we have a lot with our OPTAVIA lifestyle. So tonight, regarding mindset, this is really about our desire and understanding willpower and how it works with us in our lives. And then the skill set is really just setting ourselves up for long-term success. And then the action, obviously, is actually doing the things that we set out to do to make those changes. Because like the old saying goes, if nothing changes, right? So we're going to want to do the things that are going to help us have the results we want. So before we get going any further, we just want to know who all is out there tonight. There's going to be a poll that comes up on the screen, and hopefully you can all see it there. Just go ahead and click real quick if you are an OPTAVIA coach or an OPTAVIA client or a guest with us tonight. Fantastic. All right. Go ahead and move on. So here is our wonderful OPTAVIA Habits of Health transformational system. And this is really the basis of what we're doing here tonight. We're going through element 7 tonight. And for any of you guys, I would love it if you could just throw in the chat a couple of adjectives of what this system has actually done for you. I can tell you, for me, I've got a couple. One of them is it's empowering. I have felt so empowered by this system. Every time I get in it, it feels like I'm lit up, like I feel empowered. And sometimes there are days that go by that I don't take the time to get in, and I really seriously can feel a difference. Oh, I can see the chat is just flying. I wish I could see all the words that you guys are saying, but I think the system also is brilliant. And I'm so grateful for Dr. A and for his taking the time out of his life to create it for us, right? It's made such a massive difference in my life and in my family's life as well, because everybody knows when mom is happy and doing well, it blesses the family as well. So let's move on, and we're going to just dive in now. And I hope you guys are all really experiencing the actual Habits of Health system. If you haven't yet really jumped into it, I would encourage you, don't just toe dip in it anymore. Really, really dive in, and you'll experience what I'm talking about. In fact, tonight, if you guys have it handy, I would love for you to grab your actual LifeBook and open it up to page 169 right there in element 7. We want to be hands-on tonight. So, oh, Okay, so tonight we're going to be making some powerful choices and changing our surroundings that make making choices that are serving us easier to make. And we're also going to connect time and place that helps us make better food choices. Like, for instance, time, 10 o'clock at night, place, in bed, food choice, ice cream. Probably not the best choices for optimal health, right? So we're going to connect the dots with some of those things. And then we're also going to explore and implement some strategies to adjust our surroundings to create what we call a leptogenic world. Now, Dr. Goade talks about an obesogenic world, and leptogenic world is the opposite of that. We kind of live in an obesogenic world right now. You know, food is plentiful. There's lots of fast food restaurants everywhere you turn. There's lots of supersizing going on. There's just not a lot of activity. Sometimes we tend to be a little more sedentary, especially in our current circumstances. We could be more sedentary because our regular patterns have been disrupted a little bit. But that does not lead to optimal health. That keeps us unhealthy in that obesogenic situation. But leptogenic, on the other hand, is where we are living our life conducive to optimal health, and our surroundings are conducive to optimal health. It's kind of like that analogy of like a super highway leading to optimal health. And in an obesogenic world, there's a lot of traffic on that highway. It's in our way. It's keeping us from what we want. But if we clear the traffic off of that highway, we can make it straight to our goal, ongoing. That highway always is going out in front of us, straight ahead. So that's what we're going to do tonight, is help you figure out how to create more of a leptogenic world around you. And while you're doing that, you are going to feel amazing as those changes take place. So, you know, there's a lot of philosophy about willpower. People say there's not such a thing as willpower. You know, sometimes you have it, or I don't have enough willpower. You hear that sometimes from people. I just don't have willpower. Well, I love this definition that Dr. A has given us, and that is, willpower is not something you have or don't have, but it's a resource that becomes depleted and, like a battery, can be recharged. So as we make these healthy choices and changes, that keeps our willpower strong, and we are able to have the resources we need to reach our goals. So with that, I'm excited to introduce to you a dear friend of mine who has made some crazy good changes in his life to be able to create the kind of results that he's had. And so we're going to go all the way down to Texas, Lake Texoma. So we're either in Texas or Oklahoma, depending on what side of the lake you're on. But we're gonna call up Jay Craighead and have him share his story. Jay, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Who's that big old boy right there in that white shirt? Oh, thank you, Jan, so much for allowing me to speak tonight. And 2 years ago on this day, I played a pretty good practical joke, April Fool's joke on Jan, so maybe she'll forgive me. But 843 days ago, I discovered OPTAVIA and Jan Paxman through a good friend of mine. And for that, I'm very grateful. My decision to start the program is a little different than most. I wanted to lose 55 pounds by my 55th birthday and then have a great big party. So I was a big party animal. So anyway, little did I know 3 weeks in, I would become a health coach. When Jan asked me to speak, she said, just share my story. And then also asked me to share what Element 7 does in my life and how I utilize it with the things that I battle daily. At the beginning, it says, focus on making simple, powerful changes in your surroundings to make it easier to make healthy choices. In my life, I have many triggers And with these triggers, when they would be set off, they would cause me to overeat, overdrink, and hence the 843 days. I'll share that in a little bit. But element 7 for me, I literally had to change my playgrounds and my playmates to have success in our program. And also, once I changed these playgrounds and playmates, I discovered our third component, which is our community. And I love our community. And if I will stay involved with it, and also the LifeBook that was introduced to us this past year, my life is, I'm able to stay focused, and my life is great when I do these. I'm also a very big believer in the 4 components of our program. And if you will give each of these everything, you will have success on our program. Also, Jan, in element 7, we incorporate our personal development. And one of my favorite quotes is, your business will never outgrow your personal development. Right now, our world is in a different state or way than anything I've ever experienced in my 56 years. I mentioned earlier the 843 days. I keep up with that daily because that's my sobriety date also. With this program, I was able to change, and it's just so great for each of you, and I'm very blessed and proud to be a part of OPTAVIA. I would like to thank Lynette for standing by me. Also, my dad and my sister Drucy, both for their support. Dan and Jan Paxman for believing in me. And Dr. A for all that he does for us, and also this amazing program. Jan, thank you.
Thank you so much, Jay. Oh my goodness, that was fantastic. I am amazed at his strength and his ongoing spirit, and he continues to serve people every day. So, Jay, thank you very much for that. All right, just had a little mix up here with my slides, so we're going to go ahead and get back to it. All right, here we go. All right, thank you again, Jay. Okay, y'all, he mentioned, this is a different time we're in right now. And normally when we look at this current day, this daily chart here, we think about getting up and going through the motions of, we get up, we get going, we get out to our vehicle, we go to work, we go through our day, our routine is set, we have a structure, we have a schedule, and then all of a sudden, wow, we've got some disruption going on, right? So here we are in a situation where we can take that opportunity to make this really work for us if we can implement some things which we learn through the habits of health. So we can now create a new structure, right? We can create a way for us to wake up every morning, to still have a set system. We can get up and fuel our bodies. We can move our bodies. Some of us are homeschooling our kids now. How many of y'all are loving that, homeschooling? Holy cow. I know it's been an adjustment for us over here, but these things are wonderful. We can make something really positive out of this, and the mindset we get through the habits of health system makes that possible. I can't even tell you how empowering it was the other day when me and my little son were having a little bit of a breakdown about his schoolwork, and I remembered something that I learned right here in the habits of health system to ask him what happened, what was missing, and what is next. And we went through that process, and at the end he said, "Mama, I just love you because you understand me." And we ended up not having a brawl over his homework because he just needed me to listen to him and figure out what was missing and then take that next step. So I have to say that this has been so helpful for me in this current situation with our family, and I'm sure you all are experiencing the same thing. But so taking time to plan out activities, to fuel our bodies correctly to move through this process, and then make sure we're getting enough sleep. We're not staying up way late. We're not letting kids sleep in too long. We want to make sure we kind of keep it with some kind of a structure, and that will help us as we create this leptogenic world. Okay, so let's move into the skill set section, and we're going to talk about, and this is when we're going to get into our book. So food environment design in your home. So we've got our pantry, our refrigerator, and our freezer, and how we prep and store. So let's just look at that for a minute. In the pantry, we want to make sure our pantry is designed so that we are getting rid of some things that throw us off, right? We don't want that traffic on our highway. So we're going to get rid of the refined sugars, the refined flour products, things that are boxed in, you know, cookies and bags and things like that that just don't serve. And sometimes you may feel a little bit uncomfortable moving those things out of your home. Maybe you think, well, I've got teenagers and they like to eat them. And that might be true, but it could also give you an opportunity to introduce healthier habits to them. Maybe you could sit down with them and have a conversation and just see if everybody doesn't want to feel a little bit better and get some healthier choices in there. Or if they still want them, okay, but let's move them from places where you're normally getting in and out of, move them to someplace else where you're not in and out and seeing them all the time. Again, that's just clearing the path for you to have better willpower and less stress on your system, right? So same thing with the refrigerator. We're looking in here at the refrigerator. We're going to be clearing out the whole fat products that have whole fats in them. So we're going to get rid of the whole milks, the whole fat cottage cheeses and yogurts and things like that. We do use those with our vegetarian options all the time, but they're the lower fat kind. We're gonna get rid of the processed deli meats, the bacon, the hot dogs, the sugary sodas and juices, beer and wine. Those things just are not really conducive to helping us make great choices, right? Basically, Dr. A says, if what you're bringing into your home isn't leading you on a path toward optimal health, don't bring it in. It's just as simple as that. Just don't bring it in. Then you won't have to have that battle going on. Oh, one other thing that Dr. A suggests is to have your healthiest choices in your pantry at eye level. So when you go to get them, they're right there, easy for you to get. And that's very helpful for you as well. And then with regard to the freezer, frozen fruit with added sugar, frozen vegetables with seasonings that contain sugar, orange juice, lemonade, other fruit concentrates, all of those things you can move on out, because we know that's just going to spike our blood sugar and it doesn't really serve at all. I guess you can have it in moderation sometimes when you're not on our program on the 5-in-1 plan, but still it's really important that you're choosing things that are really going to move you forward. Things like frozen entrees with rice and pastas, frozen desserts, ice creams, sorbets, cakes, and cookies. Just be careful, and if you can, just don't bring them in. And as far as like turning the page here, okay, and now we're moving on to preparation and storage, and I love this part where it talks about smaller plates. We know really well about the 9-inch plate rule, right? We've been trained on that. And then color of your plates is important too. That was a section that was really interesting about, like, the portion size seems bigger if it's on a different colored plate. That was really interesting. And then serving from your kitchen and not taking the food on the table where you could get seconds and thirds. That was really great too. And then always have like large glasses of water and a pitcher there where you can fill up. If you're feeling like, oh, I just want more, just take a big glass of water, and that will help you feel fuller longer, and that need for your extra helping will dissipate. You won't feel the need for that. Okay, another thing that I thought was really interesting, especially now where some of us are feeling a little more stress or maybe a little bit of unsettling right now, that if we're dealing with emotions and stress, they stimulate areas of your brain that make you crave sugars, fats, and salt, right? So helping us with reducing our stress level is going to also help us to make better choices. So let's make sure we're doing something for our stress. Let's make sure we're getting out, getting some exercise, doing some deep breathing, some stretching, talking to people. Even though we can't gather physically, we can talk with each other, and that's where your coach comes in. If you're struggling at all during this time, make sure you're leaning in and not pulling back, because that just isn't gonna serve at this point. So a lot of us are we have the dining out guide for when we go out to dinner, right? But right now we're not going out to dinner. So we have awesome opportunities to support our local restaurants through ordering delivery or out to go. So remembering those skills that we know from when we eat out, to visualize our 9-inch plate, to order small appetizers, and split meals with your spouse rather than just eat your own entree, and keep in mind portion sizes always. And it's always good to get a to-go container so that you can just split it up right then, and then you don't have to worry about, you know, eating too much of it right at first. So these are all great things to remember. Okay, so now we're moving over into the bedroom. Okay, so how many of you guys have been like cleaning out your closets, cleaning out your junk drawers, cleaning out your garages? Like, we don't have a whole lot to do, so we've been like cleaning. I'm telling you, feng shui, or however you say that word, is a thing at my house. The energy that is coming from my closet is cleaned out. My laundry room is cleaned out. My daughter even got the bug and cleaned out her whole room. I mean, it's awesome. So organizing and putting away clutter is so important. It just frees up the energy, right? And then also, TV in your bedroom is just not really conducive to optimal health. So if you can get rid of it or unplug it, that will help you a lot. Getting good sleep is so very important also for a leptogenic world, and keeping your room nice and cool. You sleep better that way. You just tend to get better rest. And like we mentioned before, it's not a great idea to be eating in bed. It just doesn't really serve us. So we have another poll we're going to pull up. Out of those things we've just talked about, which area of your life are you thinking you want to make adjustments in first? So we're going to go with the kitchen, the fridge, the pantry. Are you going to adjust your restaurant selections, how you manage that? Are you going to work on your bedroom environment, or all three? Go ahead and click your choice. And while you're doing that, I am so excited to bring on my great friend, TJ Goade. She is one of the champions of the Habits of Health Transformation System, and I am so excited to have her. So TJ, can you come on and share a little bit with us?
Yes, thanks, Jan. Thanks for having me. So I am just so excited to be an OPTAVIAN. How are you guys excited to be OPTAVIANs? This has just been a life changer. I've been moving in my healthy journey, and I wanted to share some of those things that have really transformed. It's become my new normal. My new normal, my husband one day said, "Hey, let's go to the store and get new dishes." And it took me a minute to realize he was saying, "Let's go get smaller dishes." So we have new smaller dishes. I took the time to look in my pantry, and when I looked in my pantry, I was aghast at the things that were in there that did not serve my body. So I loaded it all up in a box and took it and donated it to the Veterans Advocates. It was a wonderful feeling to be able to give something, but then also know that it wasn't there tempting me. I have totally organized one side of my pantry that is completely OPTAVIA. Oh my gosh, how wonderful is that? I think of the things that have changed in our world. You know, I look in my refrigerator and I shop around the outside edge of the grocery store. you know, meats and vegetables and fruits. And it's so, it's just overwhelming to think the differences that have happened. And it's just our new normal. It's just who we are. We're really owning health. And in my freezer also, frozen meats and frozen vegetables. And I see in there things that I've prepared. I have serving size frozen meals that I've created because it's important for us to be prepared. And I just think that that is such a wonderful place to live. And I encourage you to do the same thing. Now I'd like to shift gear a little bit because I am over the moon when it comes to my transformation system. I absolutely love what this transformation system's doing. The app is fantastic. The Habits of Health 2.0 is amazing. It's our deep dive resource guide. But this LifeBook, I'll tell you what, this LifeBook is, I am no longer just calling it my foundation for health. I'm actually calling this my bedrock. If you set your health, your foundation to lifelong health on bedrock, it will always surpass the test of time. And something that I'm doing, something that I got a little bit creative with my clients, and they have been so amazing to plug into it. It's hard sometimes when I do my weekly call with them. Sometimes they're in between elements, or one of them's driving, or so it's sometimes hard for me to get those last 3 questions at each of the elements done. But it's really important. You're learning through hearing the webinar. You're learning by reading in your elements. You're learning by writing down and highlighting in there, but I really want them teaching you what they're learning. I want them verbally giving that to me. So something that I've created is a little sticky note. Theirs says Marco Polo TJ, mine says Jan, because I do this with my own health coach. I have them put this at the end of their element. So when they get to the end of that element, they go to an app. I don't know if you've heard of that free app, Marco Polo. They videotape themselves right at that point. I am in element 4, I'm in element 7. The first question is this, and this is my answer. My second question is this, and this is my answer. And I am just seeing people bloom as they are getting a daily boost of encouragement. And I'd love to have you guys do the same thing. Encourage your coach if your coach hasn't encouraged that, or really get plugged in. Dr. A asks us, just 1 page a day. Create 1 page a day as that daily boost of encouragement. And Dr. A, I loved it. He said, you know, these short little pages that only have a few words, that's a page. Read that, pat yourself on the back, absorb the encouragement, and keep moving in your health. It's a great life. Thanks for letting me share, Jan.
Oh my gosh, TJ, you are amazing. Can you guys see how she just inspires everyone? My clients are now using the Marco Polo app to help us connect and talk back and forth about the elements all the time, and it's helping so much. So TJ, thank you so much. Now we're gonna take a look at the results of that poll to see what areas you are going to be working in first. So if we could have those results come up, that would be awesome. Well, I'm not seeing them quite yet, but we will go ahead and keep going. And if we see those results come up, we'll be excited to see what they say. Okay, so let's talk about it. Let's put the pen to paper and let's list the 3 adjustments that you have already made to your surroundings that are making an immediate difference to your health and life. So good. I can tell you what I wrote. And while you're writing yours, I wrote that I'm decluttering areas, which I did, and I'm organizing the pantry, which is an ongoing thing, but I need to do more of that. And I'm adjusting bedtime even earlier. That's going to help make my bedroom is going to be more conducive to optimal sleep. So what action are you going to take as a result of this element? What have you been inspired about tonight? I'm excited to see what those things are. I hope you guys have enjoyed this tonight, and please go ahead and we'll have another poll come up, and you can just rate how you've enjoyed this visit tonight, this community time. I've really enjoyed it. I know I've enjoyed learning more about this element than I did the first time I went through it. It's been so exciting to be here with you. And don't forget that you can tap into more support through our OPTAVIA Habits of Health podcast app. We've also got our OPTAVIA YouTube playlist that you can subscribe to. And then don't forget that you can actually get into OPTAVIA 30. If you text OPTAVIA 30 to 99,000, you'll get daily text messages, supportive little things and reminders that will really help you stay connected as well. So join us next week. We are so excited that we're going to have Corey Baker come in. He is off the charts awesome, and he is going to be developing this element a little further. So please plan on coming back next week and hang around with us now. We're going to step into the next segment of our evening, which is where we're going to be hearing wonderful transformation stories. We'll give it about a 30-second break, and then we'll be right back to start that part. So stay with us if you can. Thank you so much, and have a great evening.
This audio may have contained the personal testimonials of some independent OPTAVIA coaches or clients of OPTAVIA. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified, and your individual path to optimal health will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a healthcare provider before starting a weight loss program. In addition, this audio may have contained income or earnings representations of some independent OPTAVIA coaches. OPTAVIA makes no guarantee of financial success. Success with OPTAVIA results from successful sales efforts, which requires hard work, diligence, skill, persistence, competence, and leadership. Please see the OPTAVIA income disclosure statement for statistics on actual earnings of coaches under the U.S. compensation plan, which differs from the international compensation plan. Yours in health, the OPTAVIA team.